Well, welcome to the Followup podcast. My name is Hayden. I am the worship director here at Arbor Church, and today we have an ensemble of people. We have Alison Akone, the community care pastor here at Arbor. We have Michael Solis, our children's director, and Bryan Cobley, our youth director, who is running sound and making sure that none of us are super loud or really quiet. And he's checking his phone, so I don't think he's doing a great job of
keeping time.
Keeping time. Okay, cool. So we're pre-recording this because we've gone on Thanksgiving break, and we are coming back to the office today when this gets released. We'll be back in the office, but we took Thanksgiving week off. So Michael actually said something very insightful. If something crazy bad happened, we apologize. We have not addressed it because this will be... we recorded this before it happened. Yeah,
we have no idea at this point.
So,
and at this point, it's 2020. Anything could happen.
Exactly. So if you guys are watching this in your fallout shelters, I don't know how you're watching this, but if you are in your fallout shelter, maybe we need some heartwarming nostalgia. So we thought, let's talk about our favorite Christmas traditions. We're going to be hopping into Advent season and kind of doing some of that content. But we thought this would be kind of a fun opportunity, all four of us, to just kind of sit around and talk maybe favorite holiday traditions, something you guys did with churches in the past, anything that kind of comes to mind. And apologize if it's a little light on the theological content, but we thought it'd be fun to kind of sit around and have fun chatting with each other. So can anyone off the top of their head think of something fun that they would like to share holiday season? Maybe even Thanksgiving, if you had something.
I actually have a debate that's running in my household with my wife and her friend about Christmas tree shopping. And her friends are like, you have to go to the cut it down yourself.
That's right. They're
type
the right
of,
ones.
So
they have that right then.
And I'm super excited and happy to go to a Home Depot Christmas tree lane. Like, cool, find the best one at Home Depot or any local, just pull it off, slam it down to see if it's a good tree. Like, I'm not a cut it yourself, nor do I care all that much. So I want to hear your guys's, because I'm very happy to go to Home Depot and get a tree.
Allison?
We grew up, or John and I together, we used to love going to the Christmas tree farms and cutting it down. And then we realized it's just a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But we love now taking our granddaughters out there, and we sponsor their tree to be cut down. And then we go to Home Depot and we buy the one that's just bound, and we don't even unbind it. We just pick the one that looks like the right height, and it's like a surprise.
It's
you take it
great
home.
surprise.
Yeah. So we're kind of a both and family. We still go out to the farm. The granddaughters are learning that tradition, but it's not like we are doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
So
Michael?
So, growing up, it was the Home Depot experience. But after Hallie and I got married, what was really interesting is her parents lived right next to a family that was a tree farming family. They had enough land, and they grew Christmas trees through the year. And so it became a deal that where when Christmas time came around, Hallie'd get very excited and go, look, we're going to go through their fence and go cut a tree down. And this was all new to me. And so what's really been cool is we've added our kids to that once we started having kids. And they just get so excited to find the right tree. Oh, no, that's not the right one, or that's too tall, or that one's too whatever. And I'm the one who gets to cut it down, and I'm usually totally not
it's a dirty job.
And I'm not in the right shape to do it either. It's a lot of work, and especially as I keep aging. And but what's a little bit on the sad side is her parents have moved this year, so we don't have access to it this year. So it's interesting you brought this up. We've been talking about what's our game plan, which place can we go to continue cutting, because we don't really want to lose that cutting the tree down situation.
Yeah. I grew up cutting trees down. My church, I grew up going on mission trips at my church, and we would do a fundraiser for like a Christmas tree lot where people would come in. So I've done the whole used car salesman spiel of trying to sell people on trees. Like someone comes in and they're like, so what do you like in a tree? I'm like, oh, I like it when the needles stick straight up. I'm like, oh, you're a Douglas fir kind of guy.
I got the tree for you.
And they're like, well, I like kind of the blue. And I'm like, oh, so you like nobles. Okay, we'll get you that or spruce or whatever. So, but Sarah and I have always done, since we've been married, like either go pick it up at a store or a Christmas tree lot and cut it down. But last year we were running so behind because I had just became full-time at Arbor and we were still moving in. So we decided to go with a fake tree.
No,
yeah.
you didn't. Oh, I thought
And
that's what was going to happen.
Cardinal sin.
And it was more stressful than going to a Christmas tree lot because it was like everyone at Target and they were fighting over these fake trees. And then
We regretted making him full time after we found
Yeah.
out that he went fake tree
I
and
actually-
worked for Arbor.
This was the
That's funny.
discovery moment for
Yeah.
me now, so I'm not so sure about you anymore.
that's fair.
Not only that, Allison, but it was like a bright white tree too. It didn't even look green.
No,
That's
it was
not
green.
true.
You don't even know.
That
You
is
don't
not
even know. But we went to Target and everyone was like fighting over them because I guess everyone wanted them, and all the trees that were left were either like super tiny, like the little like
Charlie Brown.
you put on your desk at work kind of trees, or like the 9, 12 foot. And we live in an apartment, so there's no way we're gonna have a 12-foot like fake tree. So I kind of pulled a move that my mom does at the store where she like will go and ask somebody like, hey, do you have any in the back or whatever, things like that. And they were like, no, but we have that one that's on display. And I was like, can I take it? And just the look on people's face when they just saw me grab the display, because they were looking for the boxes of them underneath, and they're like, can he do that? Like, I was like, I asked the Target employee, and he said, yeah, go for it. And I think there was so much scorn because they're like, he cheated the system. We were
Gamed the
all
system.
looking for extra boxes everywhere. and I just
Scorn,
grabbed
but like admiration too. Like
exactly, yeah.
that guy's, he's the kind of guy
So
Exactly.
I like.
now, moment of truth.
Oh,
What are you doing this year, Hayden?
I don't know. I've realized that like what I want to do and what I plan for isn't as important. So whatever Sarah wants to do, if she wants to go to a Christmas tree lot or pick something up, that's what we'll do. She really likes the natural tree, and I do too. But I just hate the pine needles. And then what do you do with it afterwards? Like I don't have a truck. I'm not going to load it up. And
There's an essential oil. That
exactly. Allison will hook us up. I'll just
yeah.
get a fake tree and just.
I got some actually right here.
What
Yeah.
you do,
I don't-
what you do is go to Target and wait till they're down to that situation like you talked about, and then just go sell it outside in front
And
of
that
the
would pay for this year's tree. That's a good idea. Nothing says the love of Christ like scalping a fake Christmas tree at Target. Yeah, so it reminds me of Christmas with the Cranks, where he buys that family's Christmas tree when they leave on vacation. Okay, so we've covered the Christmas tree, which is so closely related to the birth of Christ in terms of Christian traditions. I had this question because we've talked about for years at church like Christmas Eve service or Christmas morning, or even people have talked about Christmas Eve, so you can spend Christmas Eve with your family. What did you guys grow up doing?
We were you mean like gifts or
No,
like
sorry, service. Church
services?
service, yeah.
Oh, we were a Christmas Eve family, but
Yeah.
you do it like late afternoon, then you go to the dinner thing.
Yep.
But I also, when John and I were dating, he was Catholic, and so we
Midnight
would
mass.
do midnight mass. Yeah, we would, and so anyhow, I was happy to kind of phase out of that because I'm not a night owl, but or a Catholic.
Yeah. No offense to anybody listening.
I'm not an eye out.
Yeah.
Or Catholic.
Or a Catholic. Michael?
So I actually, growing up, there was a Catholic influence. My mom grew up Catholic, so that's interesting you say that.
Michael, keep the
Yo,
microphone.
thank you. Good. I'm a first timer. No, but what was really kind of cool was we did like a later, if I remember this correctly. It was like an 8 o'clock, 8:30 type service, and I always, as a kid, just found it almost just magical getting to be part of the candle lighting as it went around. And I don't know, it's one of those things as a child, I just thought, I don't feel like I get to be part of a lot of the grown-up things that happen, but I felt so involved in getting to hold my own little candle and felt so special as the wax dripped onto my hands.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I thought I always loved that. So Christmas Eve.
Yep.
Not early, not Christmas Eve, but actual Christmas Eve.
Yeah. Brian?
Yeah, so for me, did not grow up going to Christmas Eve services at all. And even at my home church growing up, my parents and I really didn't go to church together. I had my own church. I wouldn't go. And I would instead go attend a Christmas Eve party with Audra when we were dating. at her mom's house, and then so she wouldn't go to the Christmas Eve service at the church either, and she worked at the church. So I like that.
Yeah.
I'm actually one of those people who are like, why do we have Christmas Eve service? Like, what happened biblically on that day anyways? So I would, if I had a vote, I would always attend a Christmas Eve to get the service done, but also enjoy the get-togethers on Christmas Eve.
Shame on you.
I know.
I know.
Shame.
Let's not
Shame
vote.
on you.
No voting.
Hayden bought a fake tree.
That's fair.
He bought a
Very
fake tree.
disturbing podcast.
You're learning so much.
Let's hold this off till Christmas time.
Yeah.
Too soon. I just can't bear it.
Hayden and I have a new tradition that we break glassy babies on Christmas Eve too.
Oh, no.
If that
Oh
helps.
my gosh.
But Brian just went there.
Brian.
Oh my gosh, I can't bear up.
Reel it in, Brian. I grew up similar to Michael. We had like a late night, not midnight mass, but like 8, 9 candlelight service. And then we always went over to like a family friend's house for a Christmas Eve party. But Allison, you kind of stepped onto the next question I had. Great question, because I grew up not unwrapping any presents on Christmas Eve, but I know a lot of families did do that.
Yeah.
You guys were a family that did that?
Well, so there's the you open one
Yep.
on Christmas Eve,
Yeah.
and it's usually jammies or something,
Yeah.
and then the next day Santa comes.
Yeah.
So I always wondered about people who open gifts Christmas Eve, because Santa hasn't come yet, right?
No.
So we were a Santa family also. It
What
was
do you
kind of
mean a
with a
Santa
wink.
family?
Well, some people are like, "Oh, I hate to lie to my children, so I hate to tell them
Oh,
about
wait,
would you
Santa."
lie
whoa.
about?
Are we
Why?
about to talk about stuff that if kids are listening,
would
we
you
could be in
lie
trouble?
about?
Why are you lying?
Allison?
What's
Allison?
going on around here?
This is a very difficult podcast.
I don't know. I don't know how young people are that listen to this,
I know.
and I don't know if you're going to get into conspiracy theories.
Oh man,
but
here we go.
Santa comes to every house.
That's true.
And
But
every mall.
so it seems to be a lie if he didn't come yet,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
opening gifts Christmas Eve.
That
Good
makes
recovery.
sense to
That's
me.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like,
okay.
how did he get there?
I'm sweating over here. I'm nervous.
As a children's director, you're scaring the conversations he might have to have.
On that story, Audra's dad was leading a Christian camp for kids and was talking about how you can believe in Jesus. And in front of these kids, and these are 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders,
Oh my God.
said, you can believe in Jesus. It's not like Santa who's fake, but like you could actually believe in Jesus.
Why would
man.
he even say that?
I don't know why
mean,
Brian's
like,
talking about
really?
it. That's weird.
That's a lie.
Yeah, completely.
What's
but
happening
The
around
amount
here?
of phone calls
Yeah.
that happened after that summer camp.
I lost faith in Santa for a little bit because there was a church video program going on when I was a kid, and it was put on by the youth group, and the youth group thought it'd be funny to like ask all these kids in the children's ministry what like just different questions. And one of the guys asked me, he's like, "What age were you when you found out that Santa Claus wasn't real?" And I just like looked at them and the camera crew, and I was probably in
I'm
3rd
today
grade.
years old.
And I was like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "What age did you find out that Santa Claus wasn't real?" And I remember my brother was in the room because he's part of youth group. And I just looked at him like he's joking, right? this isn't serious.
How old am I today?
Yeah. And so I lost faith in Santa for a little bit, but then
Is this
it came
rated
back. Yeah.
PG then? Because parental guidance on this podcast,
For sure.
right?
PG-13.
Gosh, poor, yeah. I'm
Santa
sorry,
is
everyone.
real. Yeah.
What's going on?
Okay, so
Well,
Christmas Eve.
I just want to
jammies.
say, in my house, what was kind of cool with regard to Santa was, not to get too downer here, I grew up in a divorced home.
Yeah.
But what was really kind of crazy was every Christmas morning when we were to open presents that Santa had brought, in our fireplace there were these footprints that were the size that no one in the house had.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of awesome, and a little kids out there to tell us that Santa is real. Hello, but but it was pretty awesome to be like, I've not even seen boots that big around here. So how would that happen?
Yeah.
It was kind of fun that my mom did that, or I mean that Santa did that.
Your mom doesn't wear those size
She
shoes.
doesn't. She can't
No,
fit
you
in
can't
that.
say that.
No,
Those
that's
are
weird.
Brian or Michael, you didn't answer yet.
Oh,
Christmas Eve, did you guys grow up opening like a present or no presents at all on Christmas Eve?
Yeah, it's strange. I don't know why I was like this, but I didn't want to open any presents until Christmas, and that was personal. That was never taught to me or anything. And my sister just railed. Can we please open 1 or 3 presents tonight on Christmas Eve? And my mom was always like, yes, you guys could open one. So once my sister did, well, then I still want to, of course. Yeah. And so we did one Christmas Eve. Yeah. And, but yeah, and then went crazy on Christmas Day.
Bryan?
No presents.
Like, you guys didn't get presents at
Period.
No presents on Christmas Eve.
But like on Christmas, you had presents.
On Christmas,
Okay.
yeah. On Christmas Eve, there was nothing under the tree. No stockings hung up. So, yeah.
Was your family one of those late night rappers?
Yep. Very much. My mom was stressed out.
Yep.
So when we were kids and we'd wake up at like 5 a.m, my mom like probably got an hour of sleep
Yeah.
when we were excited.
That's how my family is too. Yep. Yeah, growing up, we didn't unwrap anything on Christmas Eve. And then I think hearing all my friends talk about unwrapping a present on Christmas Eve, I just really pressured my parents, like, hey, my friends Logan,
Everyone's doing
all my
it.
friends,
Mom, everyone's doing it.
yeah, I was like, my friend Logan, my friend Colton, their family does it. Can we do it? And she was like, no, we open on Christmas. And I'm like,
Because I haven't wrapped them yet.
exactly. Yeah. So every year it was like pressure, and then my mom started. Probably when I was in middle school, she started getting more into sewing, and then she would sew us pajamas. So we'd open our homemade
awesome.
pajamas. Yeah. But I don't like pajama pants. Like, we've talked about this because like I don't like sweatpants. I don't like pajama pants. I just can't sleep in that. And so it's always like
anyhow,
We're moving into
along.
the PG-13 version.
sorry.
Moving along.
When did we talk about this?
We've talked about, because you talk about sweatpants all the time.
All the time. What?
I don't know. We can cut this. We can cut this portion if we want
A little
to.
bit of editing happening.
Yeah.
My mom's mom, so
Yeah.
I called her Nana, it's the Italian side. I could always rely on underwear or pajamas every single year.
Yeah.
And at the time, I hated it.
Amazing,
I know. Hallie and I were just talking about that. But I would go, oh, it's Nana's present. Underwear, like I'd be like, oh, so silly, but now it's like, oh man, it's like the best gift ever. It's like, please. So Arbor people, if you're looking to give me a gift this year, no joke.
Probably. I don't know about that.
Don't.
That's a joke. It's a joke. Too soon. Editing.
It's all staying in. That's a joke. We're keeping it. Okay, so let's move. We've covered the secular worldly part of Christmas. Did you guys do any Advent kind of celebrations before Christmas growing up?
Not really. I mean, we had like an Advent calendar,
Yep.
but it was not.
Chocolate.
I wouldn't say it was sacred.
Yeah.
It was just a countdown calendar, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. How about you guys?
We did some Advent calendar, but it was not sacred either. But it was good.
Yeah. Bryan?
The only thing that was really, I guess you would say, Christian for our Christmas
Yeah.
was
So weird.
my mom had the glass
Nativity
yeah,
set.
well, not nativity, but she did have like a village that she always put up. But there was like a nativity portion that she would always put up. So that was kind of like the only thing. So as a kid, I would play like with my action figures in the village, and would always go to Jesus with like Hulk Hogan or something. I don't know why.
That's fun. Yeah.
Do you guys have nativity sets as well?
Yeah.
Or did
Yeah.
you?
John and I painted our own when we were first married, and I don't know. It's the only Jesus we haven't lost. It seems like Jesus in every other nativity set, unless he's glued in, he's just always lost. So
Yeah, baby Jesus gets taken a lot. In
Jesus,
a lot of
here
those
we go.
nativity scenes. But that was like a tradition we had at one of our like New Year's Eve parties. Christmas Eve parties. We would take the baby Jesus and hide it, and you'd have to go find it. And that was like started with my older brother, and I remember that they would do that every year. Be like, oh, baby Jesus is missing from the nativity scene, and you got to find him.
It's like a cross between Christmas and Easter.
Yeah, exactly.
Very biblical.
Very biblical.
Oh man.
But so also, Alison, just hitting on to the next topic. What have you done now in your lives since childhood that is maybe focused more on the actual reason for the season? I know Sarah and I, we light a candle every Sunday leading up to Christmas, and she has a book that she reads out of. I forget what it's called, but just kind of touches on why you light each candle. We talk through it.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I work at a church, so Christmas is centered around the church. It seems like helping the church family celebrate the holiday has become my focus in the last handful of years. So, my poor family kind of gets leftovers. You kind of drag home after many Christmas Eve services, and you heat up some soup. And so I don't know. Maybe this year, the thing that we should talk about at the end of the cast is how COVID is changing our holiday traditions. You had mentioned that Kelly's parents have moved, and you can't cut down the tree at the old place. And that reminds me of how many traditions that we're going to have to kind of tweak this year, and it will look different. So, another wet blanket comment, but so I don't know. Maybe this is the year where I'm able to create some sacred traditions at home and not do it at my church home as much. I don't know. Wah wah. How about you guys?
Oh man, goodness, I'm stuck because now I'm thinking through. We definitely go through the Christmas story with our kids, and it's not natural for me to pull out my guitar. Like I don't just go, "Hey kids, it's my guitar time for Christmas music." But it is something that we've started doing, and what's kind of fun is now that the kids are learning their own instruments, they absolutely love when I pull my guitar, when Everly's on violin, Lincoln's on keys. They've been working Christmas music right now. So I can see that becoming a new tradition as we move forward. Just doing Christmas songs together and literally worshiping together. It's going to be awesome. So,
Bryan?
So nothing, new except for working for a church. I do attend Christmas Eve services now.
And not just attend, but work.
Work them. But I guess the thing that I've done differently since we've been out of church is how to teach the Christmas story to students in a different way every single year. So it's to make it fun. So that's kind of just the new thing. But in our house, we haven't done anything yet. But I mean, with Cade now growing up more and being able to comprehend things more, it might be time to start focusing more on family traditions.
I think it's challenging because it's no surprise that Christmas becomes so commercialized. Like, and even become is such a late word, right? It's been commercialized for so long.
Totally.
But it's challenging because like you grew up with traditions, right? And they feel so sacred to you that like when I think of Christmas, I think of, wrapping gifts, putting stuff in stockings, all of that. And like, the food aspect of the cookies and the peppermint flavored everything. But it is kind of challenging because you're almost kind of fighting against your own nostalgia, right? Of like, this is what Christmas feels like to me. But working at a church, leading people, it's like, how do we not step on nostalgia? Because there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with spending time as a family and celebrating those traditions. But it's also, how do we also move towards what's the true reason for all of this season,
I think one of the surprises as adults is to realize you have to be intentional about creating those moments. Children receive the sentimentality and the experience because their parents did the work for it. So, but the weird thing then is it shifts into, I have to actually do some work and plan for this. Get the ingredients for the cookies. Turn the screens off so that we're not, everybody's scrolling.
Remember to put water in your tree. That was a new thing to learn as
That's
I told
hilarious.
my first Christmas tree. Like, I guess this is a thing.
Or if you buy one from a lot that's already cut, also cutting a little bit off.
Yes.
The bottom
Oh,
so
yeah,
you can
no,
actually drink.
We had a hard lesson on that.
My first Christmas tree, I didn't have a saw in my house. I was like, what do I do with this?
Allison, you said something there that actually, do each of your families have a specific type of cookie or dessert you like to do? Honestly,
Well, we do, but we also have very strong opinions. Like, does the frosting go on a sugar cookie or is it only sprinkles? So we're a house divided, to be honest.
That's hilarious.
I Christmas is probably like my least favorite time for sweets because I really don't like peppermint all that much, and it's literally on everything at Christmas. And like I remember my mom would go to like cookie exchanges, and she'd bring them back, and I'd just be like, all right, peppermint, peppermint, peppermint. Bite into something, you're like, peppermint. And just throw it away. So like sugar cookies were my only like. As a kid, I was
a frosting guy or a sprinkle guy?
As long as it doesn't have like peppermint on it, I'll eat it. Like I've realized that like beggars can't be choosers, you know, and like if it doesn't have peppermint on it, I'm happy. So, but yeah, Christmas cookies, man, it's.
My Italian grandma I spoke about earlier, she made this really, this is interesting since we're talking about what kind of traditions you keep with your faith and such.
Bible.
Thank you again.
It's a hard habit to form.
I'm the new guy.
Right
Get on that microphone. Yeah. This is really interesting. It's an Italian cookie. It's almost like a pretzel in a sense, but as she taught me when I was a kid, you wrap it in a way that it looks like a baby in a manger. I know.
That is intricate.
It really is.
Do you eat it?
You do eat it. So what these are though is you deep fry them. And then after they're pulled out, you drop them in this really hot, heated honey. And then you place them aside and let them cool. And then you eat those. They're so sticky and crunchy and gooey all at the same time. And they're kind of amazing. And luckily before she passed.
Hot honey?
Hot honey. Stop it.
Wow! Awesome!
But yeah, she I don't know if I have the recipe. I remember writing it down. Hallie was with me when we wrote it down, but we got the recipe before she passed. So maybe I'll surprise you guys someday.
That I would be.
No peppermint.
So happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Honestly, thank you. Thank you.
I've definitely discovered that about Hayden in the last few years is how much he doesn't like peppermint.
Like people that like their favorite ice cream is like mint chocolate chip. I'm like, why? Like,
You just broke
I think he must have had a bad experience with
You don't like mint chocolate chip? You
the
like
only mint that I've actually enjoyed is the Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies. That's the only time where I'm like, yeah, mint, here you go. But anything else, like what are those peppermint patties that people love? Those
Yes.
Oh no. Well,
the New York
Junior Mints?
New York.
Ow.
but the mint ice cream, that's different than peppermint, right? That's the different kind of.
Yeah, it's a different mint, but
But
I think
it's
just
still
mint in general, I'm just like,
What do you brush your teeth with?
toothpaste. Primarily.
Is it like a
Peppermint,
bubblegum
spearmint?
toothpaste?
That, you would think like, oh, you don't like that, but I'm not swallowing my toothpaste unless I'm doing it on purpose like I'm supposed to. But I brush my teeth and I spit it out. It's not like, man, I don't want to get rid of this.
So you don't like candy canes outside of like the
No.
flavored Starburst or jelly bean flavored
Candy canes just aren't my jam. You know?
Well,
I'm not-
That's
I will
your
say-
hot take
We're gonna get a lot
for
of
the
comments.
day.
I know,
about,
people
I
are-
don't like them either.
Even if you think that peppermint's overrated, just tell me in the comments because I think it's just not what I'm here for.
Okay, where are we all at on gingerbread though? I'm like
Gingerbread's
way
okay.
pro gingerbread.
Pro gingerbread.
Okay.
Brian? Michael?
It's a yearly thing. I like
Yeah.
it when it's here, but when it's not here, no thanks.
Ooh, okay, this one might be divisive. Eggnog.
Pro.
Stop it.
Pro?
Are we just going to stop at eggnog and nothing added to it? Is that what we're doing right now?
Aren't we cutting it in half?
We're going to stay PG-13 and not go R.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
How would you go
I'm thinking-
eggnog?
He's talking about
beverages.
what
Oh.
adults would maybe add to their.
Oh, okay.
Not that I would ever do anything like that.
That's terrible, Michael.
That's awful. Of course I like eggnog.
Okay.
Brian.
You don't like eggnog. I grew up not liking eggnog, and then I started as an adult drinking it more, and I was like, okay, there's something here.
You can add it to your lattes. Those
Yeah.
are really good.
Yeah.
No,
I worked at Starbucks, and when you're steaming like milk or almond milk or coconut, whatever, it's fine. When you steam eggnog for eggnog drinks, it is the loudest sound. It sounds like you're at an airport and like a jet is turning on
Because
behind
it's
you.
a
I think that must be the reason. I've never looked into the science, but everyone hates eggnog season at Starbucks.
If there is anybody listening at this point of our podcast, we should wrap it up.
Okay, should we wrap it up? Dude, there was
We
something.
didn't even talk about Thanksgiving. I felt like it was like a holiday thing in general. But
Yeah, I think, well, at this point will be my second year of making my own turkey. And Brian had the first year of turkey. What'd you think of that?
Super good.
Yeah.
Funny story with the turkey Hayden made. we went to his house last year for Friendsgiving, and super good. And his wife, Sarah, is just an amazing person.
We're going to talk about this. I get heated about this.
She made sure that all of us had leftovers to go home.
Saint.
Who she forgot about was her husband, Hayden, that night wanted a little bit more leftovers and was looking for it, and there was none left in the house.
I said, hey, I'm honestly dumb because I can't find any leftovers in the refrigerator. And because people were over, I was making sure like everyone got their food. I didn't really eat a whole lot because we were hosting. And as a 7, it's like life of the party. Let's have fun. So I'm not eating a whole lot. And I'm like, awesome, that turkey was great. Everyone said they loved it. I opened the fridge, and all that's left is like a little bit of like white meat, a little bit of dark meat, and a crap ton of gravy. Like I made a lot of gravy.
And it's
Sarah,
solid.
yeah. And Sarah's like, well, there's gravy and turkey. And I'm like, okay, cool. Where's the mashed potatoes and the stuffing? And she's like, oh, I gave everybody like leftovers. And I was like, so you gave everybody leftovers except for us? And she's like, yeah, what's like I don't eat Thanksgiving leftovers after. And I was like, whoa, wait. That's the best part. The next 4 days you're just eating turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, rolls, like you're set.
The turkey carcass soup.
I was able to make that because we kept the carcass for whatever reason.
I feel like we do need to clarify in there. You said you're a 7, and for folks
Yes.
who don't know what you're talking about,
We've already talked about it.
okay,
We talked about,
you're
yeah,
talking-
and you're a
you're
2
talking-
on the Enneagram.
I'm a 2.
Yeah, so you would care for me and be like, hey, don't worry, I'll make
You
you
can
turkey,
come to my house,
mashed
Hayden.
potatoes. Yeah.
Outside of COVID.
Yeah, outside of COVID. I don't know why Bryan brought that up because now I'm just so upset.
Well, let's go eat now.
My microphone is shrinking.
Your mic, that's probably a good time to roll off. So, if you enjoyed this podcast, thank you. If you didn't,
Highly
because
doubtful.
we didn't talk about anything. We talked a little bit about,
Substance.
yeah, a little substance, but
Where? Oh. This is
So-
fun though. We got
so
to know each
rude.
other.
Eggnog has a lot of substance.
next week we'll be talking about your sermon. Allison, is that
Is
correct?
it that time already?
It will be, yes.
So
So
we'll
you'll-
leave the levity behind and we'll talk about grief.
Yeah.
Come back.
This was your break from the heaviness, so hopefully you enjoyed it. Next we'll be talking about grief. Yeah. Is
Good
that,
times.
you guys feel good?
Yeah.
Good eight.
Good.
All right, well, thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys next week.